For more than 30 years, Robert Edward Auctions has been the nation's premier auction house, specializing in sports memorabilia and trading cards. With significant experience and expertise in all major sport, non-sport, and Americana collectibles, REA has helped clients achieve record-breaking prices for their items and has done so with a reputation for integrity and transparency. By actively partnering with collectors and enthusiasts throughout the entire process, REA has created the hobby's most trusted forum for selling high-quality collectibles. Go to robertedwardauctions.com for more information on how to buy or sell in their next auction.
Hi, I'm Danny Black.
And I'm John Newman.
Welcome to Card Mensches.
I still think it's the best opening, with all due respect, John. Welcome back. Glad you're feeling better.
And sorry to hear you're not feeling as better as the last time you are. Now you're battling a cold, as I'm really sort of getting over it. And, first off, I want to thank, this is episode 19 of Card Mensches. I want to thank Jeremy Lee for pinch mentioning for me on episode 18 of Card Mensches. I was in no condition to do any kind of show or broadcast. I was coughing like every 10 seconds, and I texted you early in the morning and kind of gave you a heads up, not looking good. And Jeremy Lee came through in the clutch. So shout out to him. We wanted to have him kind of on anyway, so it worked out, him filling in for me. I am feeling better. I'm not exactly 100%, but pretty close to it. And now you're battling the cold.
Well, I think there's something's going around somewhere in Mensch world. Hopefully Jeremy's doesn't catch it. Ruben, good to see you. Dylan, good to see you. Ruben, good to see the beef jerky didn't take John down. Well, it might have, just not by the cold. The national bug was nasty, says Dylan.
There was a COVID outbreak from the show. We didn't get that, thankfully. But maybe there's computer viruses. Maybe we got these things through the computer, so it's kind of like a computer virus.
I got cold by Windows.
Yeah. You touched the screen and it just got transmitted through there like a transporter.
Oh, it was unbelievable. I'm excited for our show tonight. It's good to have you back.
Yeah.
Glad you didn't get Wally pipped, and
Yeah, I posted. I'm glad to be back. I wanted, no offense to Jeremy, and I'm again shout out and kudos to him. I did want to do that show, man. We're going to kind of wrap up the national, so I didn't get to do that, but that's okay. We're gonna have a little fun today. We each picked 6 cards out of our PCs, personal collections, and we're gonna just go through them and kind of give a little bit of the backstory behind the cards, and I didn't pick necessarily my 6 most expensive cards. There's a couple, there's a few expensive cards, but 6 that I don't know, I just mean something to me without a financial aspect necessarily, although some are expensive.
Well, I think that's true for both of us, is that we collect, what we love. And it is nice when you're able to acquire cards that have a connection. Are they expensive? Sure, sometimes. Are they not expensive? Hopefully.
Yeah. It was tough picking 6 cards. I mean, I would like to pick 20 cards, but we wanted to keep this on, under 60 minutes, so we couldn't go that far.
Well, your first text to me said 100 cards each, and I said 100 was a little much. No, Chris Ramsey, great to see both of you. Glad to see John back on Mensch. Yes,
I appreciate it, Chris. I'm glad to be back, and it's funny, man. I don't want to make this about health. But man, when if you're healthy, there's something to be said about that, man. Appreciate that, and it's been a rough month and a half for me. I'm like, I hit 50. Like my coworker at work said, who's old, few years older than me. They weren't reassured. And they're like, John, once you hit 50, things start falling off.
Oh,
And
it's
I'm like,
been
oh,
downhill for
great.
you since you hit 50. Yeah,
Yeah.
your
So
warranty,
like,
your warranty, dude. You gotta get the extended
I'm
warranty.
like Forrest Gump, the scene where he's running and all the braces and stuff starts falling off.
Right.
But not that was in a good way. This is
Yeah.
not in the good sort of way. So,
Well,
but enough about illness and all that
no,
garbage stuff.
let's talk some fun stuff. So we're doing cards. How are we doing this? Or are we just
Take it turns. We'll go. I kind of I save my best for last and probably my obvious for last. Um, and so if you want to, you know, uh, just kind of
well?
you know, I show one, you show one, and then I show one, you show one. So
Well, you want me to start with my chalk one that I think will be the least
yeah,
surprising
go.
one?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, I made it the thumbnail for the episode today, so I don't think there's going to be a lot of surprise. But 1933 Gaudy, Mo Berg. So if you're listening to this, he's in the catching position. But this is a very personal card to me. If you're not familiar with the Mo Berg story, he was a spy. He was a backup catcher, and none of this came to light till years later. There's been a fantastic book written, a very mediocre movie made, and I was able to finally acquire this card, which is actually pretty hard to acquire. And I was excited because I got a one, which has a beautiful front to it. I'll say it's got a nice surface, but on the back there's a stamp of a chicken. So I am naming it the limited edition chicken back edition of the Moberg rookie card, and I love it.
The Chickenberg.
Yes, the Chickenberg. Chris Ramsey is his only card. No, it's not. He's got some play ball and a couple other rare things, but this is by far my favorite, and I think the only one in color. I could be wrong about that.
Yeah, you're more the Moberg expert than I am. I was there when you acquired that card. It was at this year's national. I know what that means to you. So very cool, and that's kind of what the theme of today's show is cards that have maybe a little deeper meaning potentially, for us, as owners of these cards.
Well, you know what, you bring up a great point, and I took for granted how much you know about what that card means to me. But this is a card I've bought and sold many times and have never quite been able to make a commitment to. So I finally made a commitment to hold on to this one. So yes, very personal to me.
All right, you want me to? Is it my turn?
Yep, you're up. What you got?
All right. So we're going off the sports grid with my first one. We've seen non-sports cards really blow up the last year or two. With actors, actresses, musicians, their first appearance on either sticker or cardboard. This is a sticker. It's going to be it's going to be in PSA 8 form. It's from 1980. Panini, the Rock and Pop collection, and those who really know me know I'm a huge. This is really one of my favorite musicians, if not the guy for me. And so I acquired this card, I think, either the end of 2022 or real early into 2023. And I actually had this. Yep, Chris has nailed it already. I had this, and then I upgraded it into a better condition one. So this is the PSA 8 version of Billy Joe,
What year?
Panini
What year is
1980.
that, John?
1980. Everyone that sees the card says, "Is that Sylvester Stallone with the beret?" He does look like Sylvester Stallone, but it's Billy. This is William Joe from Oyster Bay, Long Island, and He has a Janice Jeans card that's a couple years earlier. That's rarely seen. So this is generally considered more of the. Not that this card is or sticker. There's not a ton of these necessarily either, but at least it came out of a pack. You know what I mean? So it's in that form. So this for me is probably my Grail non-sports card. So that's why I let off with that. I do have another one. I have a 5, and that's now in my show inventory for sale. So this is not for sale, and now the 5 is for sale.
Well, I promise not to sing, but it's a little bit after 9 o'clock on a Friday, so we're close. Tomorrow.
And John at the bar is a friend of mine, and I will tell you, there's an alcohol beverage in here.
Yep.
So.
And just remember to tip the singer.
Yeah.
You and I share the Billy Joel love, so I was happy when you got that card. That would have been pretty cool. Ruben says I would have gone with some Kiss cards, more my jam. Kiss actually's got a lot of very cool cards, so you can find those, Ruben, definitely. And I would encourage you guys, if you haven't gotten into non-sports, I've got a Paul McCartney over there that almost made my top 6 today. Just didn't make the cut. And a Batman card that from the 60s, from the original TV show. Very cool stuff.
By the way, guess where Kiss is from?
If the answer is Brooklyn.
It is. Kiss is from Brooklyn. A lot of people think they're from Detroit because of Detroit Rock City. They're from Brooklyn, New York. So I don't know if most knew that, but now you know. You didn't know? Now you know.
Well, the easy way to know the answer is if John asks where somebody's from, the answer is Brooklyn. All right. Is it my turn?
It is, but I will say this. Every once in a while, I'll throw a monkey wrench in there and ask you that, and they're not from Brooklyn. Just to keep you on your toes.
I don't believe you. All right. I'm going with one, and I picked a version here so I can show it on screen. The Bill Ripken era card. Now, this is the one that has the black box over the handle, so you don't see the cuss words. I do collect the variations of this, but it's the '89 Fleer, the famous era card of a generation, and I do have different versions. I've got the original version over there as well, and if anybody has a white scribble and wants to send it to me, definitely on my wish list. But being from Baltimore, knowing Bill's personality, and all the different stories behind this, I absolutely love this card. I've had it most of my life, and I want to keep collecting all the different versions.
So I'm going to assume you heard this, Danny. I just saw Cal Ripken on a podcast. I don't know which one, so I apologize to the owners of the podcast. But he claims that his brother put that on the bat intentionally, but he's also saying that Fleer enhanced it intentionally to make it more visible. So he's saying that his brother Bill wrote F face on it. That's his writing, but that Fleer made it more prominent and visible to create the hysteria and the chase for the card. And then in turn, after they pulled them, made 10 different variations of the corrections to keep the chase sort of going in the hunt. I'm assuming you heard that.
You are 100% correct. The rumors for years were that Fleer was involved somehow. And what Bill used to do is Bill used to name his bats, and he would give them, let's say, colorful names like the one that he has in the picture. And that was a batting practice bat, and he just happened to grab Mr. FF and for the picture. And Fleer made it very clear to read, which is a little suspicious because a lot of players have the number on the bottom, and you never can quite read that. But somehow, 8 characters are very legible.
Yeah, that's funny. It's one of those like speaking of behind the cards, that's a behind the cards in its own right. And so
It's like a VH1. Where are they now? We need the behind the scenes.
yeah, yeah. All right, so I didn't necessarily like do it intentionally, but like a lot of the six cards I pulled out, with the exception of one, have sort of a New York flavor. I'm proud to be, from New York City. Um, and this next card, I still haven't shown a baseball player yet, even with this second card, although it does appear on a card that says Mets on it, and he's pictured with two Mets. But the guy on the card, it's numbered to 99. It's a recent from a couple years ago. Uh, through tops, and it's the Mike Tyson green auto right there, and you can see he's punching Dwight Gooden, and I believe that's Strawberry. Uh, yeah, the Strawberry in the middle. So Strawberry's in the middle, and Tyson's reaching across and fake punching Dwight Gooden. It's numbered to 99, signed by Tyson. It's not graded. This is how it came from Tops. I don't know if you can see it. It's numbered right there. I think it's like 73 of 99. And
Chris Ramsey's giving you a shout out. Great card.
yeah, I see. Yeah, and you can see the top sticker holding the mag tight together right there. So, uh, I'm not. Mike Tyson did some bad stuff outside the ring, but arguably one of the greatest fighters, and at least most feared fighters in heavyweight history. And you can't argue with the greatness of the boxer Mike Tyson. Maybe not the person, although he's kind of changed his life. He hasn't gotten any trouble in many years. He's doing kind of a one man show where he talked about his life and his mistakes and sort of a redemption kind of thing. And also appeared in The Hangover and was pretty funny in that. So Mike Tyson, a fan of Mike Tyson, the boxer. And when Tops made this available to the public, I quickly got on and got one of the 99 green versions of this auto. And this will be a card I don't sell; it just stays on my desk in the acrylic case there. And so that's the second card that I've shown.
Everybody's got a plan till they get punched in the face.
Yeah, it's classic, and it's so true, right? And across not just boxing, but that's a
It's a
great life
metaphor for
quote.
life.
Yeah, that's a great life quote.
It is. All right. Well, from one goat to another, this is a Serena Williams rookie. It is a 2003 Net Pro International, but it's the match worn apparel version. And there are actually, you can see in the video on the podcast here, you won't be able to see it, but it's got part of actually her match worn apparel, which was pretty unique in 2003, especially for a young tennis player. So it's not a high grade, but I don't really care. This is one that I'm going to keep forever to have a Serena rookie. I don't know. I love this card. It's right when she's coming out. It's always connected to me. It was the first female athlete playing card that I ever had. I had some retired women's athletes, but this was the first one in the career. So that's my third one. I love that Serena.
Yeah, another goat, right? And we've seen again some of these, not the four major sports necessarily, but some of those other sports, soccer, tennis. We've seen those first cards and early cards of the greats of those sports, gain a lot of momentum. And so Hodges says, or the ear bit off, plan goes out the window. Well, I want to talk a little bit about that, Hodges. I was hungry. I didn't eat dinner before that fight. And Amanda, she was right there. That's my Mike Tyson impression. I believe it's the first time I've ever done it on the show. Probably the last time I'll ever do that.
That was our impression. Sure to go wrong.
So I think when I was younger, I actually could do the Mike Tyson even better. You think you get better, when you more you do it, but apparently I did it better before like my voice changed for puberty. So pre puberty, I think I did a better Tyson.
I think pre cold, we both had a better shot.
That too. That too.
So all right, so I'm done three. I have Moberg, Bill Ripken, Eric Hart, and Serena Williams.
All right, so here's my third one. And it's a Jackie Robinson. I'm gonna let the cat right out of the bag off the bat, but it's not the one you're thinking of, or maybe you might see later on here.
Wait, it's not the Jackie Robinson we're thinking of, or not the card we're thinking of?
Not the Jackie Robinson card you most would think of that you may see later. This is from Flawless. Not sure the year, 2017 maybe. But he's also on this card with two other players you may have heard of, Ted Williams, Joe DiMaggio. And these are game use. So we see Ted Williams is a gray flannel jersey, Jackie gray flannel jersey, and Joe DiMaggio is a chip of his game use bat. This is numbered to 25. Let me see if there's any significance.
This is what happens when we don't discuss this in advance, because I was pretty happy with my Serena uniform, and you just busted that one out.
Yeah, this is 6 out of 25. So come on. Ted Williams, Joe DiMaggio, and Jackie, all game used on one card, numbered to 25. I got this very early on before that crescendo hit. So it didn't cost me what it would have cost me to get it recently. I got it very early on, and I got it because it's Jackie first and foremost. But when you can have a Joe DiMaggio bat and a piece of Ted Williams jersey along with Jackie's jersey, I thought it was a pretty interesting piece. And again, in the PC, never make my showcase. This one stays here, doesn't even go to the show with me. Numbered 6 out of 25, and I'll show the back. It's not graded, but pretty cool piece of history. I know some people, and I can't even say I disagree. It's sort of sacrilegious, right? When you think about this, let's give all the perspective here. You got a Jackie Robinson jersey and a Ted Williams jersey here that had to be destroyed to make a jersey card out of it, right? That's a Joe DiMaggio bat that had to be sawed up and sliced up. And I get people who say, like, that's terrible. That's history being. I can't argue with that. I'd be disingenuous to argue with that. But it's also saying that it's also nice to own a piece of history. This is not the only Jackie game use card I own, but I wanted to show this one because of the two other players on here with him.
I was going to say, by cutting it up, more people get to enjoy it. Also, there is that.
It's true. It's a double. It's a catch-22, right? I can't argue. I did a whole hobby quick hits years ago.
Hodges, I agree with you.
I did a whole hobby quick hits about sort of the sacrilegious, part of vintage game use cards.
Yeah, Brian says it's only an abomination if Panini double printed them.
Yeah.
Well, it's flawless, so we got to find out which box John got.
Yeah, some people won't get that joke.
Yes, there's news going on this week, even if it seems slow. Okay, well, that was a really cool card. I'm changing my order here because I'm one of the few people. Well, I say few people. I like strip cards. Not strippers, but strip cards that you cut.
I was about to say strippers, like bench warmers, or where are we going here with this? This is supposed to be a kid-friendly show.
Well, it is, except I also have a heavyweight boxer in my list. I've got a Jack Johnson, and this is a 1923 W580 strip card. It is graded with SGC. and it's just a classic pose of him, kind of in the ready position. It's officially 100 years old this year, and I am not as big of a boxing fan as you are, John. But Jack Johnson, to me, I love goats, and I think he's just one of the most underrated athletes in American history, certainly in the early part of the 20th century. And that was this card. I'll show it again. The strip card, you can see where it's been cut. Uh, I love that card. Not going for sale anytime soon.
Yeah, that's a great card, Jack. All you gotta do is say Jack Johnson. You don't necessarily even have to be a huge boxing aficionado to know the significance of Jack Johnson. What year is that? 1914 or 1911?
1923, celebrating 100 years.
Okay, see, I was wrong. So yeah, it's 100 year. That card, that that hand cut card is 100 years old.
And I just love the story 100 years ago that somebody had this strip, and to think, the story behind it, I find very cool. So I, I like strip cards. Not all of them. I know sometimes they get a little funky, but that one to me is a classic. And anytime you have a Hall of Fame go to any sport, it's worthwhile.
You like strip cards and you cannot lie. Is that what you said?
Yes, that's exactly what I said, and that's the way I'd like people to take. That's the takeaway from this. Yes, exactly.
That's what I thought. Well, it's hard to top a strip club. It's
Well,
hard
I
to
am going
top
to
a
start
strip
putting
club.
singles in Jack Johnson's gym shorts.
All right. So my next card. Um, I'll say this before I show it. This is a kind of a weird dynamic, right? Here you have a vintage player on a 2004 card that is the finest card. So it's chromium, got that shine and kind of refractor quality to it. I purchased this about 3 years ago at a card show I was set up with. A gentleman and a son came over to my table and they had a little, like kind of Zion size case. And hey, are you buying? I said, I'll take a look. And I wound up buying. They wanted to sell everything, and they had some nice stuff. The asking price for everything wasn't going to be in my budget. So I said, well, listen, I'm interested in a few cards. Would you, I know you kind of want to sell all of it, but I'm not going to be in that market. But if you wanted to sell 3 cards, I would be interested in those. And so we agreed on a deal. This was one of the 3 cards. It's one of my favorite cards in my collection. Not necessarily the most expensive. When we said this isn't going to be all about dollar signs, although it is still a pricey card. And unfortunately, I think soon, and this is not why I bought it, but unfortunately, I think soon the price on this is going to go up, and people will understand why when I show this card. So this is a 2004 Finest Moments autograph card, and it's Willie Mays, and it's a Willie Mays. I know it's shiny, so it's definitely going to get some extra glare. But there's the auto.
Very, very cool.
And I'll show the back, and the back will have the little, like the Topps holographic authentic sticker. And so it's a modern day card with a legendary vintage era player autograph in Willie Mays. And from this time period, excuse me, Willie was younger. And so his signature was a lot neater and presentable than it has been of recent. I think he's approaching 90, or he may already be in his 90s. He's arguably right now, not arguably, I think right now he's the greatest living ball player we have. And, so to have his signature, uh, you know, with a little bit of a modern flair, it was a card that I picked out. It is sticker. It is a sticker. I don't know. It's hard to tell.
Ruben, he
I
needs
think
his bifocals.
no. You know what? It's not a sticker. What? I don't know why they did this, but they made like 3 panels. I don't know if you can see it. They made like 3 panels, so it actually has like a sticker look, but it's actually on card. It is actually on card. Now,
this is fantastic for the podcast audio, by the way.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry, but
I'm kidding.
yeah, but no, it is on card. Sticker autos don't bother me as much as they bother other people. I will attest, confess to that. But if you ask me, would you rather have an on card or sticker auto? Obviously, like 99% of other people, I'll take the on card. I don't know why they did that design, which makes it look like a sticker auto, but it is.
Can I ask you? In the light, it looks almost like greenish blue. Is that pure? Is that a chrome color?
Where, on the auto or the car?
Behind Willie Mays' picture. What color is that?
It's green.
It is.
Is this like the dress? Is this like the dress? Is it blue or gold?
Right, exactly. No, that's a gorgeous car, Joe.
Yeah, it is cool. It stays on my case, on my desk, so I can see it every day. So, and he's getting up there in age. I didn't, I bought it 3 years ago just because it's a Willie Mays auto that looks aesthetically very nice, and I'm like, I gotta try to get this. I got 2 other cards as part of that purchase, but that was really one of the focal ones out of the 3 cards.
All right. Mookie says, I love adult beverage, John. This is fun. Yes. And Ruben, yes, I'm on canned Coke, not bottled Coke tonight. I will be back to my traditional bottled Coke. But we are still improvising on the move. And to be quite honest with you, it's been a long week, everybody. All right. My turn. I'm going to stick with a local connection. And just like you, it's going to be a Hall of Famer. This person was born in Baltimore. Most people don't know that. Never played a minor league game. Went straight to the majors. Rookie card 1954 Topps, which I think is one of the most beautiful sets in the 50s. And John and I happen to both have this card. We bought it at the same time. We got a much better deal that way. At 1954 Al Kaline rookie with the red back and just the young Kaline. And I love that.
Yeah. And an underrated player, one of my underrated guys. And like Danny said, we got a connection with this card. I'm not going to pull it out, but it's right here. Mine is right here in this case here. Like Danny said, we got it. We were looking at the showcase together. We struck up a conversation with the dealer. There was 3 K lines in his case. Yep. And we picked the best 2 and said, "Hey, what do you do if we purchase 2 of them?" And came to an agreement. And so we each have one. I didn't pull mine out, and you said you did. So, and one thing about both of those cards, like you said, the color on those is really exceptional. And if you know anything about 54 Topps, one of the first things to go is sort of kind of the color will fade on lesser specimens. And 54 Topps, the more I look at them and see them, they're really becoming one of my favorite vintage year cards and sets. If I ever did a vintage set, 54 would be right at the top of the list. And it's got a great list of rookie cards. I'm sort of segueing into what might be the next card you see.
That's a professional transition, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, and so the next 2 cards, full transparency, full disclosure. I've posted about them. It's not a secret. These are not going to be surprises. These are probably the 2 favorite cards in my collection. Yes, they are expensive. That's not why they're my favorite cards. It just kind of comes with the territory. And so segueing into that 54 was another 54 I bought earlier this year. And we still have a connection with this card because I would actually stop buying cards getting ready for the National. and then you sent me an auction link knowing this was on my list, and I am the king of the Segway. I'm gonna wear that crown, probably the only crown I'll get to wear. So other than remember the Burger King crowns you used to get at Burger King, they'd have them out, and you'd really
And since we've gone off on a tangent, when he says Segway, he doesn't mean the thing you drive.
Nope. That I've never driven one of those. That's probably a good thing.
The guy who invented it died driving it. I think.
Is that really true?
I think it
We're
is.
just making that up.
Somebody in the comments. Somebody in the comments. Let me know. I believe that's the true story.
Yep. So this card is Danny's fault. I had shut down my buying in preparation for the National. He sends me a link. I tell him, all right, I'm not supposed to do this. I'm going to bid on it, but someone will probably outbid on me, and then I'll try to get it at the National. Well, I wound up winning this thing. I'm not complaining because I got a great deal on it. And then I even felt better when I went to the National last month and saw what some of the lesser grade versions of this card were bringing, which was more money than I paid for this one, which is really, we talk about eye appeal in cards. This one checks all those boxes, guys, and enough jibber jabbering. You don't even have to say anything, but this is an audio podcast, so I will say this is a 1954 Topps Hank Aaron rookie. It's a PSA 3.5. These are bad, traditionally bad for centering and black print dots, and this has pretty solid centering and no black print dots. And this has an eye appeal, grade on it with the 3.5, and the back is very bright with the colors in the green and red, and just an iconic card, right? And Hank Aaron, just an all-time great. In my mind, he's still the home run king as far as I'm concerned. I know we could have a show all about that, but look at the young Henry Aaron here. And one thing I love about the 54s is you get the two photos, right? You get sort of the in action, the portrait, you get the facsimile autograph, and then the team logo. And it's just the 54s are just, the more I look at them, the more they're sort of growing on. And not just because I own this, but this is just, Danny will tell you, we looked at some Aarons that were actually higher grades, maybe 4s and 5, that I wouldn't trade. I wouldn't trade this 3.5 for what I saw in the 4 and 5. Some of them, not all of them, obviously, but really happy to own this. Didn't really plan on buying it before the National, but it just sort of worked out. It worked out that way, and so that one is checked off the list. And
am I like the little guy on your shoulder who says, "Buy Hank Aaron rookie, buy Hank Aaron rookie"?
Yeah, man, I don't know if you're a bad influence or good influence, but you're an influence, and either way you slice it. So
it's a good card. I will say, if you're listening to the audio version of this, John's being modest. The eye appeal on it's fantastic. It's a great card.
All right. I will say this. Other than one card, it's probably my favorite card I own. So that I think most people know what's coming, but we'll wait till we get there.
Well, mine might not be a secret either, but let's catch up on a couple comments here. Mookie says the 54s are so nice that 55 and 56 use the same photos. Also, very important. We said that we each got the K-line rookie together. So who got the nicer K-line? Well, did you have to negotiate? I'll give the summary. There was 3 K-lines, and we both, without talking to each other, knew which one we were going to eliminate. And it was actually the highest graded or the most expensive one. But I think we both felt the eye appeal was the worst of the 3. After that, you kind of liked the one you got, and I kind of liked the one I got. There wasn't really any disagreement over who was going to get which one, and we did negotiate, and we got a good deal.
Can I add a little bit to that and give a little more detail? So there was 3 K lines in this dealer's case, 2 5s and a 4, and as Danny just said, I got one of the 5s, and Danny got the 4, and obviously I paid a little bit more when we came up with who was paying what. But the 5 we didn't take the 5 we didn't take was if we were right, if we took them out of the graded case and just said rank these cards in how they look, the 5 we didn't buy would have been ranked third on both of our lists. So in a sense, in our opinion, we got the best 2 out of the 3. Throw the grades out, we got the best 2 out of the 3 K lines in that case.
All right, we got a couple other things I want to get caught up. I just got breaking information about my Coke Zero situation. It turns out Costco does not carry the glass bottles, only the cans. So that was reporting that was just passed along to me from my personal shopper. So there's no blame going there. And most importantly, I was right. The Segway inventor died after sustaining injuries going over a cliff on the Segway. So that's
I don't mean to laugh. The poor gentleman lost his life on his own invention.
Yeah.
But like you couldn't script like Disney would throw that out. Well, for obvious reasons, it doesn't have a really good ending.
Yeah.
So I don't think they'd be interested anyway. But like that's almost like you could win a bar bet. That's a great bar bet. Hey, did you know the Segway guy died going over a cliff? Act a little drunk, and they'd be like, "No, he didn't." Like, want to bet $5? And then you win, $5. It's like that's crazy. I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
Now that it's
And
there,
I will be using that in some form or fashion at a later date. Not to make light of someone's untimely demise, but like, come on. Like, you invented this thing and you go over a cliff. Like, it's not like it was an evil Knievel and he like rigged his car and then he died in a cliff jump.
What are you doing on the edge of a cliff? Can we start there?
Question.
What are you doing on the edge of a cliff on a Segway? Inquiring
minds want to know.
All right. If anybody knows the story,
unless we get a Ouija board or whatever they call those things, we're probably not ever going to know why he was near a cliff on a Segway. That's terrible. I mean, cheapers.
It's been a while. This didn't
add that to my Google search list.
Right. Now we know what John's going to be doing later this evening.
Yeah, I'll be up to 1:00. Segway owner Cliff search.
That's hysterical.
Not that I don't believe Mookie. I mean, he actually confirmed it. You said you think that's the case. Mookie confirmed it, but now I just want all the details. Like you said, what was he doing on the cliff? What's the backstory? Was he shooting a commercial? What's going on there? And I didn't expect a cliffhanger. I didn't expect a cliffhanger, Hodges. This is what you get with this show. You come for cards and you get the story
and you get the Segway owner
dying over a cliff. So I mean, that's the kind of stuff that will happen sometimes on this show.
Dylan, staying focused on cards, says eye appeal is king. Yeah, I think that was the point we were trying to make on our cards, Dylan. Couldn't agree more. It is about eye appeal and not the numbers. Brendan says the humanity, LOL. Yes, to put a Segway on the side of a cliff. Come on, people. Ruben, I hear Hollywood had Sylvester Stallone as the Segway owner in the movie Cliffhanger. Yeah, I think some of these write themselves.
Oh man, we're not going to do it, but we could do a whole show about the Segway guy and puns and jokes off of that, which is probably not politically correct, but what are we gonna do? Like, I'm sad he died, but it was his Segway, and he chose to take a chance on the cliff, which is why we're asking why. What are you doing on a cliff? I don't think that when he's the designer of the Segway, I think he should know it's probably not designed for cliffs.
Well, here's my question. So if I go on a Segway tour and they tell me it's safe, can I just call BS on them and be like, no, the inventor died. Where's he?
Well, I don't think you're going on a Segway cliff adventure.
I don't think he should have been either, but you never know where these things
That's
end
the
up, John.
one. What's the backstory? That's what I want to know.
Maybe he
Is
was
there
an
more
innocent.
to the story?
It's like Gilligan on Segway. 3-hour tour ends up on a cliff. Yeah.
Yeah, like that's. By the way, just to clarify, this just in: Mikey from the Life cereal commercials did not die by eating Pop Rocks and drinking soda. He actually still alive at last check, and I don't know if he likes Pop Rocks, but he didn't die eating them or drinking soda. So good for at least good for Mikey.
Yeah. Cheers to Mikey. I love Pop Rocks, by the way. Shout out to Pop Rocks. Okay, my last card. I don't think it's going to be a surprise. Anybody who is I'm sorry.
We
It
got
was
what? Yeah, this
it was
one's
an all
worthy to
terrain
read.
Segway. Oh no.
Which
Oh.
all the it makes it all the more
Wait,
ironic.
I'd like to actually bring up a point. Turns out it was not an all terrain Segway.
How do you know what makes it an all terrain? The wheels?
Well, if it was all terrain, he wouldn't be dead.
Well, accidents can still happen. People die in winter with 4-wheel drive vehicles.
Yeah, that's because they don't know how to drive.
No, that's true too. Sometimes.
Okay, so card I've been chasing. Some people know that I picked it up. I guess it's been a couple months now already. Um, yes, Baltimore zone. Uh, this is a player who I have a very big affinity for. One of my 2 or 3 favorite all time players. In this small screen here, over this shoulder is an autographed picture on the back wall. Happened to be wearing the shirt tonight, and the card is my Sandy Koufax rookie card, which I am proud after many years to finally get back. After he's been gone, he's been gone for so many years. But Sandy's back. I got this. I got a great deal on this. It's got PWCC IPL rating. It's a 3.5. So it was in my budget. Upgrade it one day perhaps, but I love this card. Koufax is important to me. This card's special to me, and for a million reasons, it had to be in my top 6. And Ruben, you know what? If I had the orange Ripken minor league, that might have made my top 6 too. So you didn't miss too bad on that one. I just don't have it.
Well, I'm glad you got the Koufax. I sleep a little bit better. Not gonna lie. Not that I have trouble sleeping at night, but I'm sleeping a little bit better knowing you got that after what happened at last year's national, where we sort of targeted the same card in the same case, and I just got there sooner and bought it. So we both own that card, and I'm glad that's the case, and I know what it means to you as well. So uh, another card we share some commonality with.
And I'm so emotional. I just knocked over my camera here. Um, by the way, that was the quickest camera fix I've ever had. I would like to say all the cards that we're bringing out, we're having fun. These are emotional to me. If you don't know the story, I'll repeat it real quickly. I had my entire collection stolen. I'm not going to lie. It's messed with my head for years in this hobby, and so to have some of these cards, just absolutely. I can't tell you the excitement I have, and I wish I didn't have a cold so you could hear it in my voice even better. But these are personal, and this is what the hobby's about. So, for everybody in the comments, I appreciate all the shout outs.
Yeah, mine. I'm not gonna show it. I don't want to. Mine is over my shoulder here. You can see it right there, on top of that case. Uh, but here's my last one. Gonna be anticlimactic, right? Everyone that's followed me even a little bit knows what my Grail card always was until I got it last year, almost 2 years ago now, and I have no one else to blame but myself, folks. Like I had opportunities to buy this card on probably 3 to 4 occasions years ago, and I kind of kicked the can down the road and just said, "Well, I'll get it next show or next month." And I always, next it's like procrastination, right? I'll do it next week or next show. And by doing that, it cost me a considerable more money to finally get it. But I decided, I had like 3 great shows in a row and put some money aside. And I'm like, if I'm ever going to get this card, I got to do it now because it's not really going down. If anything, it's going to go up potentially even more. It's a 1.5. People probably, many people know what they're about to see. It presents to me better than the 1.5, which is why I own it. Another connection with Danny here when I was bartering on acquiring this card, I consulted him, sent him scans. What do you think? What should I offer? And he assisted me in that process. And eventually I came up with an agreement with the seller to acquire what is my grail card. It's the Jackie 1.5 Leaf 48. I know people debate 48, 49.
48, 49, yeah.
Yep, 48, 49 Leaf. Color's still great. It does have a scratch right there. Corners aren't terrible. There's some rounded. The back is pretty clean. There's no paper loss.
No chicken
No
backs.
yeah, no creases, no creases. So it's mostly cornering and corners and surface. Centering is actually pretty good as well. So presents real well. It's in the a new SGC case. When I bought it, it was the old green
John,
line. Yep,
who graded that?
SGC. Oh, go
Experience,
ahead. Good segue.
quality, consistency, and the quickest turnaround times in the grading industry? We are proud to partner with SGC Grading. Check them out at www.gosgc.com.
So when I bought it, it was in the old SGC green label, the green line label, and I had posted it. SGC, I know Peter and the guys at SGC, they sponsor Sports Card Nation, and they obviously sponsor, as you just heard, they sponsor card matches. When I posted this, Peter messaged me and said, "Hey man, that'll look a lot better in a new SGC case." And so they made that happen. I will say this, full disclosure, I sent it to them for the new case on Monday, and I had it back on Friday. And I was a nervous Nelly. I was a nervous Nelly with this card on at different points. I was nervous. I had to go to eBay. It was through eBay, so I had to go to the eBay authentication process. Went through that quick. Then I was nervous getting it sent to me. My wife actually stayed home from work. She had a bunch of sick time. She's a nurse who doesn't call out sick a lot. I got this when I was in Dallas, Texas at the Dallas Card Show. I already had planned that trip. I was hoping to get it before I left. And so my wife, I'll give my wife some credit here. I love her. I said, someone's got to be home. I'm not home. I'm in Dallas. This thing has to be signed for. And she said, you know what? I'm not feeling great, and I got a bunch of sick time I'm going to take tomorrow off and make sure, I'll be home. I'll sign for it. She signed for it. So I'm in Dallas. I'm texting her, "Hey, did it come yet? Did you sign for it?" Big nervous Nelly. she she texts me. She didn't open it. She goes, "Do you want me to open it?" I said, "No, let me. I want to do the honor." So she texts me a picture of the box closed, and she knew
Wait,
the value.
well,
She knew what it cost.
you asked for proof of life, didn't you?
Yeah, I wanted to see the box, right? So she sent me a text with the picture of the box. She knew, she asked me, "What did this card cost?" She doesn't know cards, but she knows some of. She knew this one was expensive. I told her, and she said, "Holy crap, really?" And I'm like, "Yeah." But then I explained to her that you can sell them at any time. It's another form of just having your money tied up rather than cash or in gold or silver. So she sent me another text. I'm gonna sell it and go on a girl's vacation. And I texted back, very funny. You wouldn't even know where to start and begin how to sell it anyway. And she texted back, you're right, I wouldn't, but Jordan can help me. Jordan's my,
So
at the
you're
time, 22-year-old son who would know exactly what to do if he had to sell that card. So, she was obviously kidding. But all the time here, I had like another day and a half in Dallas, and I was just thinking, and here's how my mind works, folks. So I'm on my way home. I'm on the flight Dallas to Syracuse, New York, and I'm thinking, what if this plane goes down and I never truly like get to enjoy my Grail card, even though I know it's at my house,
wait,
until I
John,
touch down.
and you would miss your wife and your son, right?
Yeah, but I was thinking of the Jackie at that moment, though. So no, obviously, come on,
But it's
but
kidding. I'm
it is
sorry.
funny. It's funny because that was the flavor of the moment, right? Is this the Grail card? I've never owned it. It's one of those cards I've never owned, and I finally got it. Cost me more than it would have on the times when I didn't pull the trigger, which was my stupidity. And my stupidity cost me a few extra bucks, and but I own it now, and it's a great 1.5, and it's if I'm home, it's on my desk for me to look at and enjoy, and a fun story with my wife kind of being the one that actually was home and had to sign for it and that sort of thing. So, but yeah, that's it. I know, I knew most people would probably figure that was going to make the cut, which it did. But how can it not, right?
I don't think there's a way you could do a top list and not include that Jackie. I
Yeah,
mean,
there's no way,
as much as I
especially.
love my cards, that Jackie's just on the Mount Rushmore, I think, of all time cards. So congratulations and mazel tov to you.
Yeah, and I got it. What? It's almost 2 years now, and it's still cool. Like sometimes it's like anything, right? You get something at first, it's awesome, you love it, you look at it, you hold it, and then sort of the bloom sometimes comes off the rose. It just naturally occurs. Like, okay, it's cool, I got it. Maybe you look at it less, and it means a little bit. This is one of those cards for me that the bloom really doesn't really come off that rose. That bloom will stay on it. And I get asked sometimes after I got that card. One of the questions I got asked, all right, now you got your Jackie Newman. What's the next Grail card? I really didn't have like a second Grail card. I have a bunch of cards, and I still have a bunch of cards I want to own someday.
We
I didn't
both have
have
we
another.
both have a list.
Yeah, but I didn't have something I would really call a Grail card. Probably that Aaron rookie was the next Grail card, and even that wasn't a Grail card in the same sense as the Jackie for me as a kid from Brooklyn who idolized them and heard the stories my dad told, who grew up literally going to Ebbets Field a ton, who met Jackie in person, and as well as all the other Brooklyn Dodgers, and shared a lot of those stories. So that's where the meaning comes from.
So who just missed? I'm catching you off guard here. On your list, was there anybody who was a tough cut just missed,
Uh,
or was it a whole
yeah,
nother?
I know it's not for other people. It's the Togo rookie that you got in Strongsville,
Yep.
from the 1933 Gaudy Sport Kings. It's right here. It's not far on my desk. A lot of people wouldn't even know necessarily like what is that. It's a card I was. It's hard to find. You
I
don't
bought
see
it
it.
and I didn't know what I was buying.
Yeah. So and thank you for that. Another connection there. Um, the Koufax is up there. It's behind me. There's a Jim Brown rookie. But I mean, I we wanted to go way long. We could have done 20 cards. There's a Gretzky rookie. I mean, I've got I PC Hall of Fame graded rookies. So there's a lot of boxes I check. There's a lot of boxes I still have to check. Hopefully, I don't think I'll live long enough to check them all, but I'm gonna die trying, as 50 Cent would say.
For those of you who know me, most of that reference I was lost. So, all right, let's catch up. Chris Ramsey at 1950 Bowman Jackie Robinson card, 1.5, about the same price as the rookie card Leaf 1.5. Yeah, I mean prices and what personally appeals to people and supply, demand, scarcity, grade. I mean, there's a lot of things that affect it. I mean, the 52 Topps Jackie is a beautiful card. I know people who prefer that over the Leaf. To each their own, but John,
I'm a rookie guy. I'm a rookie card guy. So it's not so much the design as much as
the design stands on its own. Also.
It helps. Yeah, it helps. Don't get me wrong. I rather a good looking rookie card, but if it's an ugly card, but it's the rookie and it's a third year beautiful card, I'm still going to go for the rookie first, and then maybe the third year card after that fact.
Ruben says I would have never expected a 50 Cent reference on this show.
You don't know what you're gonna get. Pop culture will rear its ugly head in here.
I will admit,
and there's already 2 ugly heads in here, and then you'll get something else pop. Another ugly head might pop in.
Clemente rookie might give me flight anxiety.
Well, here's Brendan. That was on my list of cards I wanted to acquire at this year's National. I will unfortunately say that didn't work out. I wound up getting, instead, a K-Line and a Bob Gibson rookie. But Clemente and Seaver were my first 2 choices for this year's National. And I looked at a bunch, but the prices were just way over what the kids call comps. And so I wasn't able to acquire them. They're still on my list. I still want to get them. I'm a little bit in, after spending at the National, I'm not in the market for them at the moment. But eventually the budget may allow me to entertain the thought in the future sometime.
Can I just tell you, I got a new chair when I moved, and it sucks. My tush is so sore right now. I just had to share that. This is the most uncomfortable chair. If anybody's ever buying chairs, the Task chair from Amazon is horrible.
Stay tuned. 2 weeks from now, we're going to do the top 6 best office chairs for you.
I will take recommendations because I need to know.
It will be riveting.
I am numb from the waist down. I got to tell you.
But that might not be anything to do with the chair.
there's a website.
You might have meningitis. You may want to go to your local physician.
All right, John.
At least you're not on a Segway or near a cliff.
Well, the night's still young. Now I want to go on a Segway tour.
I don't know. Do you have cliffs in Baltimore? I got to admit.
I mean, in Maryland, not in Baltimore. But, well, I mean, yeah. I mean, I can't believe we're talking about this, but I'm not going to take a Segway to the cliff. It doesn't seem like a good idea. Well, we went way over, so it's a good thing we didn't do 20 cards.
Yeah, jeepers.
Yeah, so
that would have been something else.
I'm glad you are back and healthy.
Yeah, I'm not 100%, but I'm high 90s now. I think I'm not coughing every 30 seconds like I was, and but I don't know. You hit 50, and it's things start to go bad. So
just remember to get the extended warranty.
Yeah, I think it's too late.
And I've got to finish on this. Ruben says, FYI, the first time I was in Baltimore, I witnessed a Segway tour of the city. Well, Ruben, I think you just figured out what my weekend plans are. So if you're watching tonight, you can see me on a Hobby Hotline tomorrow morning. If you're listening to this on the podcast, you missed an excellent episode of Hobby Hotline on Saturday morning. So I'll leave.
which you can still catch on YouTube.
Yes, exactly. So, anything else, John?
No, this was a lot of fun, and I think people like seeing cards, right? I like seeing people's collections, and I don't know if we'll do it all the time, but something a little different, and like I said, it'll be better than the next show, which we'll be talking about office chairs, what to avoid and what to look for.
All right. On that note, I think we'll take one of your cards as inspiration, and if anybody gets the reference, good on you. Take care. We'll see you in 2 weeks.